Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ankur Shah, and this channel is all about environmental and cultural issues and what we can do to help solve them. I'm trying to grow this channel and gain an audience to create informative and actionable content for you. So please do like and share this video if you find it valuable, and subscribe to the channel for more. In the previous video, we went over the concept of environmental justice and a brief history of how the movement began in the US in 1982 in Warren County. We learned that low-income communities, which tend to be minority groups in the US, are disproportionately impacted by pollution. In this video, I will do my best to explain the root causes of this issue, but first, let's go over two short but specific examples of environmental injustice. Let's visit a place called Port Arthur in Texas. It is an area with 75% Black and Hispanic population, surrounded by four major oil refineries, four chemical plants, one petroleum coke plant, and an international chemical waste incineration facility. This place has 31% poverty rate and nearly a 10% unemployment rate. And about 1 in 5 people suffer from cancer here, and that is 25% higher than the state average of Texas. Port Arthur suffers from a high child mortality rate, excess rates of birth defects, along with many reproductive disorders. This is America's sacrificial zone for using gasoline, which even I contribute to. The second example, pregnant women of low-income farming Hispanic communities in East Orosi, California, are afraid to drink tap water. Blue baby syndrome, a fatal disorder that can cut off an infant's oxygen supply, giving the baby a bluish-purple complexion, is a common occurrence in East Orosi. The oxygen supply is blocked by the high level of nitrates and pesticides in the water bodies due to agricultural runoff containing nitrate-based fertilizers and animal wastes from farms. After the Warren County incident, the United Church of Christ Commission had conducted an extensive study in 1987 headed by Dr. Robert Bullard, who is known as the father of environmental justice. They published a report called Toxic Wastes and Race. This report and the related websites are linked in the description below, so please do check them out. The report concluded that race is the most significant factor in association with the location of hazardous facilities in the US. They discovered that nearly 23 million of the Black and Hispanic populations in the United States lived in or near contaminated areas at the time. These conclusions led to the widespread use of the term environmental racism. So what exactly is the cause of this scenario? And here's the million-dollar question. Is racism truly at the root of environmental injustice? Due to the racial diversity of the United States and difference in income levels across races, environmental justice displays itself racially. The root causes of poverty levels among minorities, especially Black and Native populations, certainly is attributed to historical racism. But environmental injustice is largely a result of the free market economy, which does not see environmental degradation as a cost. Let's take a global view to better understand what this means. Here's a great website called ejatlas.org, again linked in the description. And this documents environmental justice communities globally. So we can see numerous examples, whether it's in the slums of Mumbai, or indigenous communities in the Amazon, or mining communities in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The story is the same. The common factor across all these communities is poverty and the lack of power among the affected populations. Oftentimes, due to the lack of opportunity in communities ridden with poverty, the most unattractive jobs become desirable, which can lead to partial support for polluting industries for employment. For instance, let's take the case of the city of Uniontown in Perry County of Alabama. Nearly 91% of the population of Uniontown is African American, and 45% of the residents here live below the poverty line, with an average annual income of less than $10,000.
You have 2,000 to 2,200 people that live here in Uniontown, and just about all of us have problems. And a lot of us have the same problems. The community, the area is so poor, no one wants anything to do with us.
The town has a site called the Arrowhead Landfill, which has nearly 4 million cubic yards of toxic coal ash shipped from Tennessee. At the time of the shipping of the coal ash, the landfill employed 65 people, leading to some support for employment and bringing funding to Uniontown. Of course, most citizens oppose this and continue to do so. A similar situation exists in low income coal mining communities of Appalachia, where there's support for coal mining jobs, but most people know it is an absolute hazard to their health. And yes, this community is actually white communities, low income white communities. And they lack the opportunity to, so they turn to whatever they can to make them a living. The powerful have caused the environmental domination of the powerless. Generally, communities which have a low socioeconomic status are concentrated in land which is cheap. Companies and industries followed a path of least resistance and strategically place the polluting facilities where the land as well as labor is cheap so they can maximize their profits. Environmental contamination is simply seen as the price of doing business in the perspective of the polluter, and this is the result of the current economic model, which treats pollution as a negative externality. In economics, according to Investopedia, an externality is a cost or benefit created by a producer, usually as a side effect, that is not financially incurred or received by that producer. In this case, the pollution is created by the businesses as a side effect or a byproduct and is not paid for by them. The burden of the pollution is instead paid for by the poor communities, either through their health or their lives, and hence pollution is called a negative externality. The concentration of pollution in poverty stricken areas is also due to structural changes after the economy became globalized. Most manufacturing jobs moved to developing countries, and the wealthy residents moved out of core urban areas, leaving the poor ones there.
The only ones that I have knowledge of leaving is basically the whites. They close business, pack up, move out. Most of the blacks here, well, just about all of them, they can't afford to do that. This is their entire life. They have family that lived here before them, and they have property that was given to them by their family, and they just can't leave it because that's all they have. I know money make a difference too, but we don't have any money.
Businesses have moved out from these areas as well, so the unemployment rate is around 20% higher than the national average. The perceptions of these communities are also negative because of the high rates of crime, so help usually doesn't come from the richer suburban residents. The environmental justice communities are facing the death blows of poverty, pollution, and health crises, all of which are exponentially worsened in the times of a pandemic. So, what can we do about this issue as caring individuals? I tried to find answers, and here are a few solutions which I'm trying to implement as well. Firstly, learn about any environmental justice community in your area. It is very likely your own area has one. So, the EPA has made a free tool called EJ Screen, which allows anyone to view several health and environmental reports of your selected place. Play around with this map and see what you find in your locality. Secondly, find organizations fighting for environmental justice. A great resource to start off is this amazing list compiled by 1%fortheplanet.org. Just search for environmental justice organizations by your state, and I am sure you will find something. And finally, we can get involved by either donating our money or our time or both, which is amazing. So I hope we can help solve environmental injustice together. Thank you so much for watching this. And if you know of any organization or community which is fighting for this cause, then please do type them below. And I'd love to see your suggestions, comments, questions, or thoughts below. So please do share it with us. And in the near future, I'm hoping to invite someone who has fought for environmental justice or led campaigns so we can learn more from them together. So thank you so much for watching again. I'm very grateful for your time and appreciate your support. Please do share this video if you found it valuable and subscribe to the channel for more content. All right, I will see you next time, and until then, take care, be safe. Bye.